Oh wait, what's happening, guys? So it seems like we are back here yet again with regards to me being demonetized. So I've had to blur a couple of stuff out. But if you want to see the video in its entirety, just go to Patreon in the link below and you can see the video as it was intended for YouTube instead of the blurred mess and the cut out mess that you have right now. Anyway, I appreciate you, YouTube. I appreciate you, Patreon. And I appreciate you guys for watching this video more than ever. Please hit the subscribe button. And you know I love y'all when y'all put down in the comments and like the video. South Africa. Great country, right? This country is a symbol of what we can achieve if we work together. In 1948, a law was passed by the National Party headed by this man, Hendrik Verwoerd, to separate people by their races in order to save
the heritage of white South Africa.
In his attempt to realize the differences we have as South Africans and enact the
policy of good neighborliness,
many people of color were removed from their homes, forced to move into designated areas called homeland, and being treated like last-class citizens. Until the rest of the world was like,
what?
After seeing the violence on the South African streets, they threw a couple of sanctions and boom! Apartheid was over. But let's be honest, guys. America only did it because they were like, if we have to do it, then South Africa has to do it. So now it was time to figure out how to move forward in our country. How the governments worked years before in South Africa was similar to how it worked in Great Britain, which was basically a stupid way. And to show you how stupid it is, I'll explain it in this way. So on the left here, we have the Crips. Pretty familiar gang, right? Here's why the Crips started. They were tired of gangs pressing the neighborhoods and making the streets unsafe. So Raymond Washington, who was the leader of his own small gang, would go to the leaders of other gangs and other schools and said,
yo, let's fight. If I win, you gotta join my gang so we can stop the violence in the streets.
well, what happened if I win?
Well, then we'll join your gang, but we'll still stop the violence in the streets.
So what you're saying is you want to stop the violence in the streets and bring order to the hood by having a disorderly and messy fight right now?
Yeah?
Shit, bruh. Yeah. Shit. Either way, slowly these gangs joined up and made one big gang, the Crips. Now, it was time to bring order in the streets and stop the other violent gangs. They were all led by this guy and this guy. Two perfectly sane men. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, the Pyru Street Gang is having a meeting with their leader about the violence in the streets caused by the Crips. So they decided to recruit other gangs to join their gang with this guy, who severely got beat up by the Crips. I'm sure he has no axe to grind. So they elect themselves to run each neighborhood. The issue is they also elect who runs the gangs. Now, the guy right here who wanted to stop the violence went to jail for shooting a liquor store family business because he was high on cocaine and was sentenced to death. This guy right here. Remember, the gang members chose their own leaders. Me, the guy who's walking down the streets every day, I have no say. In fact, I walk in the streets and I'm wearing my favorite red t-shirt. Pah! I'm dead for wearing the wrong t-shirt. Cause this guy ordered them to. If Skr decides that day that he wants to wear a blue t-shirt, pah! Cause this guy ordered them to. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking.
And then I must just ask for a sane gang member to run the gang.
But the problem is you can't because you're not a damn member. So you just have to deal with the gang leader's decisions no matter how crazy their temperament. So basically, our country is run like a gang system. In 1994, black people were allowed to vote for the first time and obviously the votes all went to ANC. Mind you, these were just a bunch of prisoners who hadn't practiced their trades in almost 30 years and were tasked with overtaking the current government and running a damn country. Yes, guys, this will end very well for y'all. For a brief moment in history, it seemed like everything was going well. Nelson Mandela was hailed as the man who ended apartheid. SABC was integrating their content. The Springboks won a World Cup. In fact, into the new century, Thabo seemed like he was doing well too. Until this guy showed up. As far as I'm concerned, the confidence of South Africa died when this man was made deputy president of this country over 20 years ago.
Hey guys, Future GrimmTV here. As I was editing this thing, I came across this video right here, and this is basically a meeting to see if they could figure out who they could make deputy president. One of the people that they wanted as deputy president was Winnie Madikizela Mandela. So she came to this meeting to decline.
Those comrades who nominated my name, I apologize for having to decline.
Now, as soon as she declined, I need y'all to look at how pissed off Nelson Mandela was. This nigga was pissed off. I can tell you right now that I don't think anybody wanted Jacob Zuma to be anywhere near being deputy president or president. Anyway, back to the video.
So, you guys get the Thabo Mbeki step down because basically he was
exposing
the fuck-ups that this guy and his crew were making. I mean, he ended up being the only leader bogged down with corruption, crime, and conspiracy stories. Somehow, this dude became president. Now, I wasn't old enough to vote, but I can promise you, I knew nothing about this man before he was even chosen as the party leader. In fact, the only things that I did know was that he was part of the deal that shall not be named, that he loved singing Bring My Machine outside of the court where he was arrested for SA. In fact, the woman that he essayed apparently had HIV, and his response to being asked if he was at all worried he had essayed an HIV positive woman, his response was that
he took a shower.
This is the guys they chose for us as a president. This was all before he became a president, by the way. I can promise you with everything that I have in my body that nobody would have voted for him as president. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking.
At least I must get a sane person to be our president.
Well, the problem is you can't because you're not a damn member. So you just have to deal with the party leader's decisions no matter how crazy their temperament. Now, since then, Jacob Zuma's presidency and his cabinet has been filled with incompetence and an overt disregard for the law. From the constant reshuffling of the cabinet, the controversy of buying a 250 million rand house using taxpayer money, being involved with shady characters, to the hiring of clearly incompetent people. And that brings us to this guy. In this video right here that I made about Kostatich being bullied by Casper Nyovest, which you should definitely give it a watch, cause bruh, as far. We learned that the government, which was basically the Department of Arts and Culture, offered working artists only 2,000 rand as relief for the pandemic that will not be named. That was actually the first time I had heard of the Department of Arts and Culture being relevant in aid of artists, no matter how small. However, the only time I ever see the name of the department is in big ticket events that are sure to get a return on investments, led by this guy. Hired by who? This guy. Who elected this guy? Well, this gang. I literally know more about a presidential candidate that lost in the United States than I know about this guy. And he's my president! If I had a choice on who to lead us, I would have never chosen any of these guys. But I'm not given that choice. Back to this guy, Nathi Mthethwa. I heard that he wants to make a 100-meter flag. Let me tell you about this great, amazing plan from this man that we call our lead.
This is the greatest plan.
Apparently, it turns out that the people are not familiar with the South African symbols, including the flag. So the first answer that they came up with was to build a 100-meter glow-in-the-dark flag at Freedom Park in Pretoria. They're first going to spend 5 million rand to research how feasible this is. Then, they will pay another 17 million to erect the flag up. Before I even go far, how soon does it cost 5 million to research how to hoist up this flag? If you paid 10 highly qualified engineers 50,000 a month for 3 months to research how to hoist this flag, that would still only cost 1.5 million. What the fuck is costing 17 million? Are you buying a rocket ship to hoist up this flag? Secondly, I want to come to the reason the flag is being hoisted. The spokesperson, Vusindima, says it's to build unity and to show a symbol of common identity. Also, to educate the country on our flag, including social building. So we're paying 22 million for a fucking marketing campaign. Who them soon is going to be driving to Freedom Park every day just to talk about a damn flag? If you wanted marketing so bad, why not pay artists to make song about a fucking flag if you have to? In fact, here's an even better idea. Why not create a competition about the history of the flag and the winner wins R1 million if they make the best song? Have you seen how many struggling artists we have in South Africa that would jump at the chance of entering this competition? And you would barely have to spend a fraction of the current budget. You stupid amateur mother impotent stupid asshole piece of head asshole ass mother with no morals or balls. Sorry guys. The problem is the leaders that we've chosen can't even defend this project without sounding like buffoon idiots. This is a quote from the minister himself, guys. I swear, I am not paraphrasing. I'm reading it just as he said it. During the day, it will be seen. And at night, you would also be able to see it because it lights at night. Because the education has to be continuous both at the day and at night. Fucking hell, what the fuck? Oh my fuck. You mother piece of bitch asshole, stick in the mud, sherbet sniffing, crayon chewing, nose picking. These are the leaders that are chosen for us. The people who are supposed to be able to lead this country into prosperity. Every day we are seeing examples of artists becoming call center agents, petrol station attendants, waiters, because the industry is so small and has very narrow avenues with limited education structures available for those artists to find solutions, allowing them to pursue their passions. This man, in fact, this government, spits in the faces of those artists that are actually driven to make something of themselves. An unfortunate thought is that the same people who came from struggle have now lost touch with what is happening on the ground. For example, who decided to fund this research on whether people know much about South African symbols? Why was the research kept hidden from us in order to make a decision which affected a huge community within South Africa? Those people that came up with the idea, why? How does researching whether we know our symbols or not help South Africans with the struggles that we face on a day-to-day basis? What research did you do that told you that hoisting up a 22 million rand flag will unite the country? When the idea was brought up, how many people in attendance of the meeting spoke for the South African people on the ground? In this video, I only looked at how this affects the arts and culture community. However, it has bigger implications when you look at the scope of how 20 million rand could help benefit the rest of South African communities. We have 40% of the youth who are struggling to find jobs in our communities, turning to crime in order to feed themselves and their families, in turn putting our lives at risk. This is not a bit of my video. I'm not trying to be funny or asking for empathy in my next line, but the truth is, yesterday, I did not eat. For the past 2 days, I've been working on my videos. The most I've had to eat was a muffin and water, not by choice. I'm out of options to ask for money to help me survive on a day-to-day basis because I'm pursuing what I love doing most, which is these videos. I work hard every day to perfect my craft and try my best to ignore the feeling of thinking that editing these videos or being part of the entertainment industry was a bad choice, as I was once told as a child. Unlike DJ Shimza, if the reports are to be believed, I don't go begging at the offices of the government asking for handouts because I was taught to work hard to achieve what you want want in life. Also, I was told that the government struggles to help out anyone because of the current socio-economic times that we're going through. But it turns out they can help. They have 22 million fucking ways to help me. But instead of investing within the education system to teach kids more about the current flags and symbols, or investing in the youth of South Africa in general, they decide to spend 22 million to host up a fucking flag. I don't know where I'm gonna live next month because YouTube is not paying me nearly enough to support myself and my family. But as soon as I get paid by my YouTube, I have to give 10% of my money immediately to them. Otherwise, I go to jail. So they can use that money to hoist up a 22 million rand flag, you fucking assholes. I work so hard on these videos. Damn hard. It's almost impossible for me to get a job while making them because I wouldn't have enough time to split between the two. But at this rate, I'll have to choose between following my passion and having no place to stay or food to eat, or working for the rest of my life as a telecom consultant or a bricklayer. Oh yeah. But then I forget that we have 40% of the youth that have no jobs because there are no jobs available because Nazi thinks putting up a flag will solve my problems as an entertainment worker. In fact, if you're a fan of this channel and you really want to help stick it to the incompetent government, as soon as you're done with this video, please click on the link below and watch a 1-minute video of a waving South African flag with a quick explanation of what the flag symbolizes. Please watch it every day, at least once a day. Please guys, let's try to get the views as high as possible in order to show the government imbeciles that we can educate ourselves on the internet for free about the flag without spending 22 million. I promise, during the day, the flag will be seen, and at night you will also be able to see it because it lights at night. Because the education has to be continuous both at day and at night. Share the link of the South African flag video to everyone you know in order for them to come and watch this 1-minute video. It'll only take a second to copy the link of this video and post it to your social media, guys. Please, let's show this incompetent government that it does not take 22 million to unite us. Here's the video on the screen right now. You can click on it, or you can click on the link below in the description. Let's do this and let's fight against the stupid ANC government. Awe.